So, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Dun-dun. Droid builders, all droid builders. Shh. I don't want to be cranky. Test, test, test. Droid builders. Hey, shh. Cranky AV guy here. Shh. We're switching the schedule up, ladies and gentlemen. We are actually live right now. So right now we're going to switch to the show and tell. Okay, because we have a lovely, lovely probe droid that is currently being built right in front of our eyes. And we'll let him talk about it a little later. But if someone wants to come up here and show off their lovely droid and talk to the live world, I have a microphones and you can talk about whatever you want. You want to come, sir? Come on up. Bring your droid. Let's give him a round of applause. Got you your own mic.
All right, hello everybody. My name is Wayne Newmeyer. Back 6 years ago, Back 6 years ago, I attended my first DroidCon, and I actually gave a panel called BB-8 Without the Printer, which I showed off my droid Weir, who at that point was 2 years old, and I'm happy to say that he is now currently 8 years old, and still one of the oldest working BB-8s in existence, as far as I can tell. Waiting for someone to prove me wrong on that. So if you're wondering how the old school BB-8s were made before the club started going with, the standard Vaughn jet files and carry drives and all that fancy new stuff going on in the back, little history lesson. So back in the day, the ball, because 3D printers were in their infancy, what a lot of people were using was something called the California Quality Plastics hemispheres, which I have a set on the table. You can come by and take a look a little bit later. Those are half-inch thick polycarbonate, and the reason the company was making them was Sphero contacted the company for mock-ups for their, the toy Sphero they sold, and they wanted a trade show model, and people found out they had the mold, so early on the BB-8 Builders Club, they were doing a run of these hemispheres, and that's what a lot of the early builds were. So I picked up a set, and the decals were designed by Corey Pacchione, because again, before 3D printed balls, that's how you would get the decal, the pattern on, and I believe the panel lines on that ball are actually Sharpie. So just a little bit of time and effort to get the finish. This particular drive system is pretty primitive compared to what we have now. I won't even call this the Model T of BB-8s. This is more like that goofy Mercedes-Benz thing on 3 wheels. This was designed without any use of CAD software or 3D printing. This was literally designed, started about a month after the movie Force Awakens came out, and this was all designed with graph paper, basic geometry, and a couple wood mock-ups in the wood ball. He made his first appearance in June of 2016. He then went to DragonCon that 2016, met Brian Heering and Dave Chapman, one of the first BB-8s at DragonCon. He was in the cold open for the Star Wars Celebration in 2017. So you see the ending video where Little Ray meets BB-8. That's actually this BB-8. Um, yeah, he's been trooping ever since. So a lot of miles on that ball. Still the original paint job, which I'm just as surprised as everybody else. And yeah, he's just still rolling. So I'm happy to show that he is not like me. He's not dead yet, despite everything that's happened the last few years. And also, I just figure I share this too for any new builders, because one of the philosophies I went with this droid is keep it simple. So you're going to see a lot of cool projects here with every panel opens up, self-balancing. I think there's one of those walking duck robots back there too. But for your first project, just focus on what you really need to do. Pick the one challenge. For this guy, he doesn't have that articulation of his head. He doesn't have any roll stability, so he's got this drunken wobble that's now become part of his personality per se. He rolls, and for most people, they meet a rolling BB-8. That's what they really want to see. Everything else is just gravy. So yeah, that's just my rant for this particular project. Thank you.
Well, there's our first one. Does anyone else want to come up and show off their droid? Come on. We're all looking at everybody's droids here and drooling and going, this is really amazing. So is there anybody else who wants to come up and talk about their droid? I mean, because we're all staring at the giant Imperial probe droid that is slowly being formed in front of our faces. And we're all staring at him while he does it. It's so awkward, isn't it? All right, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody else? Come on. We got 3 of these, and this is the time to show off what you got. You can talk about what you have. Everyone will love it. No one's going to judge you. I love that I have to actually, convince you all to come up here and show off your droid.
Greetings, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me. My name is Brian. My astromech.net username is the same, Brian, very original. I also go by Scruffy. This is my second DroidCon. I was here last year. And I am here with my custom astromech, H4CK, better known as Hack. I started him about 6 years ago when I was living in Iowa. I now live here in Indiana. He's an all aluminum build, and he's still a work in progress. I thought I had things going great, and I got him here today, and he doesn't move. I had him on the street just the other day, up and down the street, doing just fine, but today he's being temperamental. At the moment, short of needing to troubleshoot him, most of the body is in place. I've got sound, I've got some custom lights in the coin slots. I am still working on trying to get the dome to work. I've got most of the parts in place, but I need to hook up power and I need to get my warp cell dome system up and running. But he's my Imperial droid, and he's been my work for the past 6 years. Thank you.
All right. Who's next? Oh, we do have a droid coming towards us, ladies and gentlemen. No, sorry. That's all my gear so people online can see us. Just a little plug for everybody who's here. We do have a YouTube channel. We currently only have 21 subscribers. And I think we have more than 21 people here right now. So later I'm going to go put up a little thing so you guys could actually access it and join. Because currently we're live streaming there. We're also live streaming on Facebook for the people who couldn't come. Okay? But you guys are our priority. So if the stream fails, sorry guys in the stream, this is what happens. They get it because they're here experiencing it. Are you ready, sir?
Oh, you can. Actually, I need two hands to do this. Stage hand. Okay. This is an R2D2 or an version 3 or Mark 3 3D printed droid from 2019, and he's gone through a few personality upgrades. Currently, he's running Neo drives with a 20-to-1 planetary gearbox, so he is quite sprite on carpets and ramps. And here we go. Thanks. There we go. So he can easily go up carpeted ramps, and he's currently running a Kyber system with a human-cyborg relations for his sound. So he can do happy, sad, angry, scared, and those are unique sounds that have never been heard before, and I've played them again, it'll be different sounds based on his current mood, which is reported or is in human-cyborg relations. You can use that right now. If you look at it's going through a happy, angry, sad, scared, just demo pattern. I haven't wired yet the output of the human-cyber relations mood to the input of the light routine. But he's got fully functioning pattern panels in his head, and his body does this nice little 100. Dollars come by, he can attack right back at him. He's got the right tool, and he's got the left tool, and everything opens up. And of course, he's got the bad motivator, which has a big coil in it. Because that could cause everybody to get really mad at me. But yeah, fully functioning. Pretty much everything I could think of. He doesn't have a card dispenser yet, but other than that, yeah. So on the Buzzsaw, I'm pretty happy that that's using a Maestro script, but I use an end stop. So it runs out a timed amount, but on the back end, it hits the end stop and resets it and homes it every single time. I was able to program a script to look for that end stop and reset it every time and just toss a random fun buzzsaw sound. So you can see it runs a little different every time. A handsaw. But he's got some one-shot music hits, so if I see Superman at a convention, or I see an Avenger, or Indiana Jones. And the interesting thing with the human-cyborg relations, it's got 3 audio channels, so I can run my sounds, and they're different volume levels, so I can do a remix in real time of any music that I want to do. Of course, you know, Ghostbusters, Barbie, whatever. So you get the idea. So he's fairly fun with the crowds and the kids. And drum roll, please. R5.
So some of you are asking, it's Droid Builders Info is our channel, okay? I'll put a QR code up here later because I'm currently making one on my computer right now. So also spread the word so that other people, like, because we've slowly, I just looked, we gained like 10 more subscribers. So, but we currently have 3 people watching live. Come on. So, hi live people. All right, here you go.
All right, so who's the idiot that decided to follow up Tim? Me. No, hi, I'm short. My name is Jason Charlton. My handle on Astromech is J Charlton. And this is my Battley V2 B2. So this is the second version. Some of you might have seen Tim, one of the original V1s. He was part of the design team that came up with this, so naturally I've been picking his brain. V2 is still very much a work in progress. I have most of the drive features working. He's able to extend his drive. He can do his little tilt maneuver. Of course, he's got his head animation, and so forth. No lights and sounds just yet, and he's still experiencing some power issues that I'm hopefully going to get some ideas on how to correct while I'm here. But this has been this is my second build. I completed my Battley Mark III R2D2 a couple of years ago, and he's been an absolute dream to own and operate. I tell people all the time when they ask me, why do you have an R2D2? And I point to all the smiles in all the crowds around me and say, that's why. And it's a feeling that just can't be beat. That's about it for mine. He doesn't do a whole lot at the moment, but hopefully over the next few months, he'll get a lot further along. So, thanks.
All right, who's next? Come on. Come on. Oh, he's. Yes, we have a little narrow channel for everybody to come through. And the Imperial P Droid is getting bigger. It's now gotten legs. It's slowly being created in front of us. I mean, you have to admit, this is kind of impressive. Like, a lot to put together, and wow, I think you get a really good payoff. Oh, well, someone else is on my stream. Yay, we got it going. And it's working.
No, I'm an independent person. I can bend it down. Hashtag short lives matter. Anyways. Hello, my name is Dashim Cole. And this is my droid R4M33. And he wants me to get the training bolt off him. Because I forgot I was there. So I started this droid right around when the pandemic started, and it took me about 3 years to complete him. And I actually took him to a local convention near me called ZenkaiCon for the first time. And when I first brought him over, so many people went nuts over him. It was so cool seeing everyone's reaction over something that I kind of built. Even the owner of the hotel came down and she was like super amazed by him. And he runs off a shadow, so I can conceal myself, so that no one can actually tell I'm actually running him. It worked so well that when the owner of the hotel came down, she was like, "Oh my gosh, he's amazing, he's wonderful." And she was looking around, and she's like, "Wait, is he by himself? Why is he unattended? Someone's gonna steal him." And I thought to myself, yeah, I would love for someone to steal a 110-pound droid through a rotating door. Have fun with that. So my droid, he actually has a 3D printed head. Some of the smaller bits are actually resin cast. His legs are actually made of wood, and his feet are actually steel welded. And his rest of his body is actually made of aluminum. And thanks to a friend of mine who has a Cricut, she was able to actually put his actual number on the side of it, which surprised me with this one child who was actually able to read it. He was like, "Does that say R4M33?" I'm like, "Did you just read that?" He was like freaking 10 years old. You know, a tear nearly dropped my eye because the next generation secured, man. But yeah, I got him somewhat completed around 2023 in March, and from then to now, he's been active with so many events for cons, charity events, sporting events like games and a hockey near me, which that one was a surprise for me. And for his number R4M33, I was stuck on the longest time on what to really call him. And I had to think that I'm such a fan of so many different things. So his number actually correlates to his color. And I'm a fan of like old school Iron Man comics. So one of my favorite armors is the Silver Centurion, which is red and silver. And in the comics, it's known as the Mark 8. But in the MCU, it's actually known as Mark 33. And I feel like 33 sounded way cooler than 8. My droid's also a product of kind of rushed. And I say that because there was a moment where I kind of tried to rush him a little bit. And even though I'm happy that I have him here now, I have to kind of go back a couple of times to either change something to make it better or undo something that I really screwed up here and there. So if you're like starting your droid, take your time. Don't rush anything, because then you got to go back, take care of it, and pray that it actually survives like a few feet. But I'm actually really happy with my droid. Like I said, I took him to so many places, and it makes me glow up like when everyone compliments him specifically, because something that I put together and everyone's like praising it like nuts. And there was this one little kid who saw R2D2 and my droid. He completely ignored R2D2. He knew who he was. He ignored him and went right to my droid. And like his dad keeps in touch with me over him. He's like, yeah, my son will not stop talking about your droid. He loves him. I'm like, I'm going to have a heart attack. But yeah, that's my droid, R4M33.
All right. Who's next? Oh, yeah. You want to come back? Come on. We're not stopping anybody. This is show and tell time. This is like when we were in, elementary school and we want to show off stuff. Come on. Just show it all off. It's still looming and looking at me. I'm so scared.
All right, hello again. So transitioning from a droid that originally wasn't 3D printed at all, we have Dio, which is 100% 3D printed. This is the it's badly correct. I always see it spelled. I've never had to pronounce it. Oh, hey. By the way, great. These are the best files I've ever printed from anybody. Like so this is the V2 Dio. The tolerances are great. The printing orientation's all done. Like the instructions, like this could not have happened without you. So thank you very much. So just to go. So just to go a little bit into this specific build, so to date, my droids keep getting smaller and smaller. I started with a Dalek in 2012, which is a pretty big and bad idea to start with as your first robot. Then did R2, then did BB-8, then did Chopper, then did a Mars Sojourner rover, and then after the pandemic, I have like shirts with the droid family, which includes Dio. BB-8's new travel pajama bag has Dio on it. So I'm like, I need to finish the set and have Dio for my Christmas cards. So I got the Badly files, started printing them off, put them together. But excuse me. All right. So the electronics, I did my own electronics mainly because I was able to use the exact same code for self-balancing that I'm actually using in the BB-8. Because the BB-8's a hamster, they both balance the exact same way. They have two drive motors, which in his case is the two green printed wheels, and they have a internal measurement unit. Sorry, let me turn the actual internal measurement unit on. There we go. They have an internal measurement unit, so they actually balance themselves, which is why they can drive smooth. And BB-8, you'll see later tonight or tomorrow, he does drive at least smooth in his pitch axis. In his roll, like I said, he's got a drunken wobble. As far as the sound, what I have in him in terms of speakers are 2-watt, 28 millimeter speakers, which is actually the same you'll find in most high-end lightsabers, particularly if you're using the CFX cards. And then he's got the same 20-watt watt amplifier I have in my R2D2 and Dalek and Proton Pack, and pretty much anything that has a speaker, so that you can actually hear him in a convention environment. Unfortunately, the speakers that were on the plan kit, I took him to his first event, and you could not hear him in ambient setting at all. Other than that, yeah, really great learning experience, especially 3D printing bearings and working with, so his body is PLA plus. It's just my go-to filament. You know, everybody has their preferences. The head is lightweight PLA, which if you haven't worked with it, it's almost like printable styrofoam. Like it literally feels like you're printing a coffee cup. So it's really neat stuff to work with. You're welcome to come by later and, you know, feel it and see it. But yeah, it was a very interesting project. Thank you.
Next up, oh, here we go. Don't have to wait too long.
Hello, everyone. My name is David DeMarcus. On Astromech, I'm David DeMarcus, 1971. And now you know how old I am. I'm from Indiana. I live about 2 hours just north of here, so it was a pretty quick and easy drive for me. Moving to Florida in literally days from now, so big change. This is the third. I joined Astromech back in 2015 after I was at Celebration Anaheim and saw just a whole group of amazing droids, and I was like, wow, I really want to learn how to do that. So I joined Astromech shortly after that celebration in 2015, and it didn't take long for me to start reading on Astromech and realized I was in way over my head. So there was just so much information that I was reading through, and most of it was just kind of overwhelming. So I actually put everything on hold, and it wasn't until about 5 years later, literally right before the pandemic was about ready to start in February or March of 2020, that I thought, you know what, I'm an adult, I'm somewhat intelligent, I should be able to figure this stuff out. So I kind of got back to Astromech, got in touch with one builder in particular. I don't think he's here. I've never met him in person. His name's Chris Rice. He's from Kansas City. And somehow I got messaging with him, and he just kind of gave me some friendly advice on, you know, here's what you could do to get started, and here's where you can go buy a dome and this and that. So long story short, in February and March of 2020, right before everything was ready to shut down, I started, I decided I wanted to do an aluminum droid, so I started buying a lot of aluminum parts, frame and skins and dome and all of that. So I built an R2D2 that year in 2020. A year or two later, I decided I really loved it, so I wanted to build another droid. So I built an R5D4, which I think I might have had it here last year. I can't remember. Not nearly as awesome as Tim Hebel's R5D4. And then just last year, I decided to build a third droid. So I had a dome, and I started cutting out all the panels from the dome. And as I was cutting these panels out, I'm like, I wonder if I could take the clear dome that I managed to get from a friend and just apply these panels to the clear dome, because didn't want to paint the clear dome. I didn't want to screw it up because I'm not a painter. So I cut out all the panels from the Granite Earth dome, and I started laying them out on this clear dome that I had for maybe a year or so. And I was like, man, I think this might actually work. And then, well, what am I going to do with my Granite Earth dome with no panels? Well, I'll just call Brian Stubblefield. He'll buy it, and he did. So thanks, Brian. We called it, what do we call it? The Frankenstein dome or something like that. I listed it on Astromech, and he was a taker for it. He'll be able to do something with it. But anyway, so this originally was just going to be another R2 style dome, or R2 style droid, but decided to go with the clear dome. When I was here last year, if you were here last year, you probably saw Michael Turner's R3 droid with his clear dome, and I just thought it was super cool. So I started that build last year and just kind of finished him up earlier this spring. He was at a couple of events this year in Toledo, Ohio. They have it's called the Toledo Toy and Train Show, and it doesn't really sound like an event where droids would be welcome necessarily, but the Midwest Droid Builders Club has a booth there, and I don't know, there's 6 or 7 droids that roam around that show. And then just in maybe it was May or something of this year, he was at C2E2 in Chicago with a whole bunch of other droid builders and 501st and that sort of thing. I mean, there's really nothing special about him. I guess the only thing that makes him special, he might be the only clear dome droid here today. So I thought, well, I might as well just bring him up and talk about him. He's got a life form scanner in his dome, and unlike R2 that has opening panels and the life form scanner can go, up pretty high, this life form scanner just raises about 2 inches and then rotates right before it hits the dome, and then it goes back down. I have if you've seen the droid over there in the back, he's got a little LCD screen that kind of cycles through some different videos. It's got Leia's message, it's got the Death Star plans, and then it's got a third video that I found online and was able just to apply to that, just load it up onto that screen. It's the first time I'm using AstroPixels. I'm not sure if anyone in here uses AstroPixels also, but I hadn't used them in my previous droids, but his dome lights are all AstroPixels. And I'm still trying to figure out if anyone knows how to do this. I want to be able to change the colors on my AstroPixels through some coding, and I've not been able to figure that out. So if anyone knows how to do that, I'd love the chance to talk to you about that. One of the things that I do in all my droids, so my R2 and my R5 both have this, and so does this droid here, is I like to put bubble blowers in them because they are huge hits with kids and adults at conventions and that sort of thing. I love doing it on carpet because there's no risk of people slipping and falling, but whenever I do it at a convention and it's like a concrete floor, in my R2 at least, it's in his dome, so he can kind of spray them, and so they don't kind of, condense in one spot. But with him, as soon as I spray, I drive him over it and just kind of let it all dry and not become once it's not a slip hazard, then it's okay. But anyway, that's my R3. I didn't really know what to name him. Oh, just a little something else about him. He's all aluminum, but he's not powder coated. I wanted to do something different, so I had him anodized. And I kind of like that green color, so I had him anodized in green. And as far as his name goes, I've got a good friend back home that kind of helps me build. His name's Brian. I'm David, so the initials D for David, B for Brian. And so I've named him R3DB, just kind of in honor of my friend. So that's R3.
Okay, anybody else? Oh, sir, I don't think this is the right franchise for this group. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, I'm John. Probably pretty old. Get up to the microphone. It's already Deco. He's the version of R2D2 from the spoof. It's a very silly thing. You can watch it on YouTube if you want to look it up. He does sounds. I gotta turn him up. There. Now he's got volume. Got pixels in the light, in the eye, and in the pretty much play a bunch of sounds, random music, things like that. This was my first build. I started it in 2015, and I thought it would be amusing because I go to DragonCon a lot. I've been going since 2003, and I see the R2 units all the time there. I was like, well, R2 is going to take me a while to build, so what if I build this and he follows along behind all the big droids into the panel. So I thought it would be amusing. This is Chilla, the Wookiee monster from the same little rat companion, I guess. That's pretty much it. He doesn't do a lot.
Here we go. And well, this one looks familiar.
Basically, this is for your live stream audience. So this is our duo. He's from Star Wars Visions. He's literally based off of pictures I took with my phone of my TV because there was no other reference material. He's in one episode. He has maybe 2 minutes of screen time total. So everything he's here is a lot of creative license. But I figured he would have a very interesting personality with his head moving in 2 dimensions and also actually 3. So he goes up and down. So he's got kind of a head pump along with a very articulated head. He's got a Romadome in him. So when I'm driving him, I let go of the stick and he will automatically center his head, which is handy for doing droid parades. He can tip his hat, and probably his biggest thing is he plays music. So let me see if I can play some music. That's not music. So you get the idea. So he is 100% 3D printed from the ground up. He's built to go to conventions. I've got his. Back, you can get at his drive system with literally no tools, and then just the screwdriver or the nut driver to get at if you need to tighten something. He's got speaker boxes, which gives him his really big sound quality. So a 3-inch speaker needs about a quart of space for a speaker box. So when you make a sound, half of it goes this way, the other half goes this way. It cancels each other out. So if you grab the stuff behind the speaker, you get twice as much volume out the front of the speaker with the same amount of wattage. And that's not even doing anything with a port or anything like acoustic, which is possible, but I just kind of petered out after I learned I could do a pretty good results with just a quart of space in the speaker box inside. He's got
Okay. Someone else want to come up? We got like a couple more minutes, and then we're going to just stop the stream, and we'll get ready for our next panel. But I want to end eventually with the probe droid, because guys, they've been watching you build this the entire stream, and it's so cool.
Hello, my name is Dylan. I have my whole droid here, but it's not put together. I'm going to talk about the chroming process for my droid. By the time that we take pictures, whenever that will be, we will have the rest of the droid set up on the legs so you can see it better. As of right now, though, we have the dome down here and the body in the corner. If you want to come over and see it, it's right over there with my dad. Before I talk about the chroming, Michael Badley, thank you for making builds the print files. This is entirely 3D printed. And thank you, my dad, for helping me build this. And happy birthday on Saturday. Because it's your birthday! So, quick show of hands, who here has done anything with 3D printing? Okay, so you all know the pain of sanding, I assume, yes? Yeah. So, the sanding process started off similar to most sanding processes. It started with, you put on that Bondo, the Bondo putty, you sand that down. I believe we started on 80 grit. We used an electric palm sander for some of it, and then from there, after we sprayed filler primer on it, we hand sanded all the way up to 3000. We did about 5 or 6 sanding stages total around the entire body, and then everywhere that is not orange or blue, we sprayed gloss black first, and then from there we set up a greenhouse in our garage. We cut out the panel from the greenhouse and made it airtight, and we had fans pushing air in and pulling the air out. And then we sprayed a clear coat on it. And from the clear coat, then we sprayed Duralumin on it. It was, I want to say $50 a bottle of Duralumin, but we only used, I think, maybe one or two. Okay, we used 2. We bought 5 or 6, so no need to tell my mom. So we did that throughout the entire body, and that's how we did the chroming process. So,
ladies and gentlemen, I believe it is ready. He's nodding. Bring it forward. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun.
everyone. So as you guys see, this is an absolute work to put together. I spoke with Doug, and I know he wanted me to bring it over. You can see why I'm hesitant to bring it over sometimes to some events, but we've done quite a few events. It's put a lot of smiles on a lot of faces. I seem to get a lot more smiles from adults than kids. Kids are just like, is this from what's that show? Forgot what it's called, or the video game show, or whatever it's called. I'm sorry, you guys are gonna hate me for this. I just don't play video games. They turned into live action. I don't remember what it's called, but about the nuke. Yeah, Fallout. There you go. I know you guys. Do not hate me. Like, I am not that guy. But but a lot of kids think it's from Fallout. It's so a little bit about the droid. It's completely 3D printed. Other than the base, it's reinforced with resin and then wood. I think Dave Moog from Droid Division did an excellent job on designing this. I know he worked with, I believe, with Michael McMaster on refining it, getting the details in. Michael did help me tremendously with the actuators and with a lot of the movement, ideas of the movements. That's definitely all him. I added a few things inside. Actually, do I have it? Let's see. Yeah. So as you can see, I have thrusters, and I can shoot them off in here because all that is kind of like no, not compressed air, but like a duster. So I did some research because dusters without bitterant is quite expensive, as some of you guys experienced, especially depending on your state. And so I found out that dusters are actually R134A or R22, literally refrigerant for your car. That's all it is. Put upside down, and that's what I did. I created a 3D printed enclosure. You guys are more than welcome to come check it out. And then I put two 12-volt solenoids with relays in there, with tubes going inside of him. I got plenty of space. It honestly looks like crap inside, but and then I just put the tubes hanging out. It's good for to get sticky fingers away from the droid that are moving through the con. So there's one in the front and one in the back. But I don't know why the other one isn't working. I could be out of air. But then I have a full head rotation up top. I'm running two separate maestros. I'm running one on top, one on the bottom, and then the base is completely powered. It's not connected at all, so it's running off a different RF transmitter with separate power supply, and I can take this off and run the base by itself. I did the base is made almost completely out of mild steel. I wanted a counterweight. After speaking with Michael and a few other people, one of the biggest things was traveling with that humongous base that they have. I was trying to avoid that, and I went with the single pole method, and it's worked out quite well. I cannot tip it over myself because there's about 250 pounds of counterweight on the base. But I think I've covered everything. The wiring needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but I've been going event. I've been going event to event. For the people that do follow my progress, I've been trying to do as many events as possible and just show it to people and get the word out and let people, hopefully inspire someone. So, and now I'm working on Chopper, which is not here, and that's it. So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all. We're going to close this up and get prepared for our next panel. It's just what most of you are waiting for anyway. All right, thank you all very much. Let's give everyone a round of applause.